There is a railway in Britain that feels like it belongs at the edge of the world. A line that winds through empty wilderness, crosses vast peat bogs, skirts wild coastlines, and stops at stations so remote they serve just a handful of houses. This is the Far North Line, a journey into one of the most isolated and breathtaking landscapes in the UK. The story of the Far North Line begins in the mid-19th century, when the Scottish Highlands were still largely cut off from the rest of Britain. Railways were seen as a lifeline, not just for travel, but for survival. Construction began in stages from the early 1860s, pushing north from Inverness into increasingly remote terrain. By 1874, the full route had been completed, stretching deep into Caithness, linking the far north towns of Wick and Thurso to the rest of the country. It was never an easy railway to build. Engineers had to carve a path through rugged highlands, cross rivers on viaducts like the dramatic Shin Viaduct, and navigate terrain that was often wild, boggy and unforgiving. But the railway transformed life in the north. Fishing ports like Wick flourished, small highland communities were connected, and goods, from whiskey to wool, could finally travel south with ease. Like many rural railways, the Far North Line faced decline in the 20th century. Stations closed in the 1960s, roads improved, and fewer people relied on trains. Yet somehow, this line survived. Today, it remains a vital link for remote communities, and one of the most unique railway journeys in Britain. The journey begins in Inverness, the unofficial capital of the Highlands. From here, the line heads north, hugging the Bowley Firth, before turning inland and then back to the coast again. It stretches for around 170 miles and taking over 4 hours to complete. But this isn't a journey you rush, because almost immediately, the scenery begins to unfold. Leaving Inverness, the railway glides along the Cromarty Firth, where you might spot ships, seabirds, and distant castles. One of the highlights of the journey is the fairy tale-like Dunrobin Castle, visible right from the train, complete with turrets overlooking the sea. Beyond Helmsdale, the line turns inland, and everything changes. The landscape becomes wilder, emptier, more dramatic. Here lies one of the most extraordinary parts of the journey, the flow country. A vast blanket bog, stretching for miles in every direction, and now recognized as a globally important ecosystem. It's one of the largest peatland areas in Europe, and one of the most remote landscapes in the UK. The railway cuts straight through it, a lonely ribbon of steel in an endless wilderness. This is where the Far North Line becomes truly unique. Many stations here occur request stops. Some serve only a few houses, others feel completely abandoned. Stations like Altnabrec are among the most isolated in Britain, miles from the nearest village, with barely a road in sight. It's a railway where the driver might only stop, if you ask. Keep your eyes on the window, because this line is alive with nature. You might spot seals along the coast, salmon in highland rivers, birds sweeping across the peatlands, even deer roaming the hills. This isn't just a train journey, it's a moving wildlife documentary. Eventually, the line reaches Georgemas Junction, the northernmost railway junction in Britain. From here, it splits. One branch heads north to Thurso, the UK's most northerly station. The other continues east to Wick, once a booming fishing port. At the end of the line, you are closer to Norway than London, and just a short distance away lies John O'Groats, the very edge of mainland Britain. The Far North Line isn't about speed. It's about space, silence, and the feeling of traveling somewhere truly remote. It's often described as one of the most scenic rail journeys in the world, and even ranked among the greatest railway trips globally, because few places in Britain feel this untouched, this wild, this far removed from everything else. So if you ever want to experience a railway that takes you to the very edge of the map, step aboard the Far North Line, because this isn't just a journey, It's an escape into one of the last great wildernesses of the UK. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and join me next time as we explore another of the UK's most scenic railways. Thanks for watching.